Hey folks, Jonathan Bennett here. Things are happening in Meshtastic. So to start off, the first 2.5 alpha is out, and we're still working to get everything in place for all the clients to support all the new features, but things are generally at least not broken across the board. A quick review, we've added public key cryptography for direct messages, and you should back up your node's private keys. Meshtastic 2.5 uses the TOFU model, trust on first use. If you do a full node erase, it's much easier to restore keys than to get everyone else on your mesh to forget your node. Though to make things easier, the default settings reset, the soft factory reset, does retain the node's key pair. We also added more secure remote admin. A 2.5 node now requires an updated client to do remote administration. To use the old system, the channel named admin, you need to turn on the legacy remote admin option on the node you want to control. Do not enable that option for the node in your pocket. Alternatively, you can copy the public key from your local node into the admin key field on the node you want to administer. Then there's no need for the legacy setting or an admin channel at all. The new thing to tell you about is the "Don't MQTT me, bro" bit. Okay, technically the name is okay to MQTT, which is boring. Regardless, this is a flag inside each packet that indicates that the user has opted in to their messages being sent to a public MQTT server. 2.5 firmwares will refuse to send traffic to MQTT on a default key if this value is set to false. This does not apply to custom keys, so it should not interfere with users capturing their own data. For the time being, packets generated on older firmwares will continue to flow to MQTT the same way they always have. In a future release, we will likely switch this stance and not forward to MQTT unless the user is running a 2.5 firmware and has opted in. One more note, this bit is not a cryptography solution. Because the default firmware will honor the bit, because we can check for it on the official MQTT server, we anticipate this being an effective solution. But in reality, it is just a request that remote nodes handle your data in a certain way. Channels with the default key are still effectively broadcasting in the clear, and anyone within range can still harvest that data if they really want to. We've just raised the bar, and we've made it impossible to behave badly on accident. So 2.5 has other cool features like reworked time handling. It should now be much harder for a single node with a bad time to poison the entire local mesh, and the mobile apps are much more aggressive about setting the local node's time. That should be particularly helpful when using the iOS app, where a bad time on your local node made for some really odd message ordering. Should be fixed now. We also have an automated test bed of real hardware and a small selection of unit tests added to the Meshtastic code. Put simply, this helps us find problems faster and it makes it harder to break things. We found and fixed some quirks around the message priority handling, so messages should get delivered just a bit quicker, particularly on busy meshes. And more, lots more, little bug fixes, improved support for hardware, etc. 2.5 is an outstanding release, and it's still an alpha. It seems to be rather stable at this point, but if you run it, be prepared for bugs. And if you find any, come and tell us about them. Or hey, if it works great, let us know that too. As always, you can find more from me at Hackaday and twit.tv, and the tip jar, if you really want it, is at buymeacoffee.com/jbennett. Thanks for coming, and happy meshing.